Oh,
Twitter's mad at me now.
it's
What's up,
always mad
everybody?
at us.
Oh God.
Did you not pay the Elon toll fee, the troll toll?
No, I did not pay the troll toll
Oh,
to
no
get into
wonder
the
it's not
boy's
working.
soul. Oh man, thanks for dropping in the middle of the workday. Is it as hot as it is here where you're at, man?
Yeah.
Ooh. I got
Hello,
Nate,
chat. We're talking
got
to you.
LQ for Quan, Priyanka. Thank you for dropping by. Okay, baby. First, you get the Gold Star Attendance Award for sure.
Yeah, gold stars for everyone who's already here.
I should.
And everyone else, what stars do they get?
Christin, did you get attendance awards? I kind of get the vibe that you would get attendance awards.
I know. I totally give up that vibe. My school didn't really do that. It was more of like you had these like books that your parents had to sign every once in a while or something
Yeah.
that shows your attendance. So it's more like if you didn't show up, then your parents would know, kind of thing. Maybe it's a British schooling system thing.
Yeah. What does the book say? Like, my kid wasn't in my house for 12 hours.
I don't remember. Like what it said. It was
Like,
almost like a little scheduling diary sort of thing. But
interesting.
I don't think any of us really filled it in. I remember I had to forge my mom's signature because I didn't want to bother her.
Yeah. I had agendas.
Oh
And
yeah,
the
something like that.
Yeah, and I think what they tried to do is they tried to make you write down your homework in the agenda,
Yeah,
and
that's
you had
what
to
it
show
was.
it to your parents.
Right.
But like,
But
I don't know. I was like a nerdy kid. I did my homework, and so I agree. Like, I
yeah.
would try to. Have you ever looked back at a kid trying to forge their parent's signature?
Oh, I don't. We were all really good at it, so I don't
Oh,
know what to
really?
comment.
I I don't think I ever told you this. Did I tell you my parents were worried that they were worried that I was going to have a lot of academic problems because I had no motor control in terms of like drawing and handwriting and things like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
so you
so
were a special kid.
I drew what they called spider people until I was, I don't know, I think like 5 or something, which is like way past when you're supposed to be able to draw like normal stick figures. And so they were just like, all right, he's in for a tough time. But fortunately, that turned out not to be the case. But I still can only draw spider people, so maybe that's just a me thing.
Is your handwriting improved?
No. I have absolute trash chicken scratch, and it's not like the doctor calligraphic like chicken scratch. It's just this person has a tenuous like brain hand connection is what it feels like.
How do you operate like a rifle? If that's the case, how
Well,
does
so
that work?
that's the thing. It was a little bit different with the I don't know. Maybe it was like so. How do you hold a pencil actually? Because I hold it like this.
No, that's messed up.
Yeah. So this might be the problem.
Right, Chad? Like,
Yeah, Chat. Tell me
I
if
remember
this is
ideas
wrong.
with this kind of like almost like an eagle claw grip, and then they had like messed up handwriting, and now I'm like, oh no, they had gross motor control problems.
But I did have a I would say like quantum leap in my handwriting when I got to college because I studied applied math and I figured out that you could artistically swoop like the T's because like you know how in some of the math symbols are like cursive type T's or like Greek letters.
Yeah, the tau.
Yeah. And so like when I started doing that math by hand, I was just like, ooh, I can just steal some of this and replace what my brain thinks is like a T or whatever with those. And so now I have this like weird print cursive math cluster, like screwy handwriting that is more legible, but not good.
Oh, that sounds like one of those cryptography codes where we replace some letters with symbols.
Yeah, no,
And
that
I'm noticing there's a few OK Banger chatters who are sick today, so I hope you all are feeling better soon.
yeah, that sucks. I
And
thought I was sick last night. I crashed really early,
oh, is that what happened?
which
No
is
wonder
why
you didn't
I think
reply.
the first go ahead.
No wonder you didn't reply my barrage.
Yeah, no, I think for the first time in OK Banger history, you're more tired than me.
Oh, that's true. And then the other thing I want to acknowledge is that we actually have a number of viewers from the Twitter side, X side, on my
Let's go.
profile. So hello,
Welcome. They're
The human
definitely
robot, you are welcome.
yeah. It could be real, could be fake, but they're definitely all related to you because mine. I'm not paying Elon anymore, so
Yeah, yeah.
I just don't get it.
Alrighty.
Whew.
So, how are you feeling today?
Moderate to severe, but in like a good way as opposed to the normal bad way.
Moderate and to severe good.
I don't know. I mean, you could be like, so severe in the classical sense is like Snape, like just intense. But I feel that way about the stuff that I want to do. I
Mm-hmm.
actually, so I've struggled really hard over the past few weeks with doing the things I'm trying to do. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a lifelong struggle, but specifically the past few weeks I've struggled. And I bought the brick thing, which we talked about, like the app for the phone. Did you get yours, by the way?
No, I didn't order it yet because someone never sent me the referral code.
But I haven't gotten an email about it.
Oh.
But I'll check that today and see if I can get that so we can, save $10 or whatever. But so I got the brick thing and I finally have my settings dialed in so it blocks, I think, the correct apps when I'm doing various things.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to guess, what do you think I allow during my workout period? Because I like lift at my house.
Telegram?
And
Uh, Spotify or something that you listen to?
well, first of all, I'm very offended. I use YouTube Music, not
Oh, right,
Spotify.
right, right. So YouTube music.
But so this is a little tricky. I have to use the Sonos app because I have the Sonos speakers and they're dog
Uh,
water, and but it uses YouTube Music through that.
mhm.
He says, "Yes, we are back," but I also have Chat GPT as like the last thing,
Oh,
and,
oh,
and it's
right,
weird
right. I'll add this to my intervention log.
because it's surprisingly the perfect thing to have for me as a person who um I get rabbit holey, right? We both do. I have some poetry books down there. I've been working through Walt Whitman's entire like corpus of work, which is why I post about that sometimes. But sometimes I'm not in the mood for that. And so ChatGPT, for whatever reason, is the right amount of interesting, not interesting to
Mhm.
not screw up the rest between sets, but also let me do something quasi-productive without getting distracted by the insane neuro manipulation of the normal internet.
That's how that Chad, you can observe the descent of Cameron into the claws of Sam Altman as we
I am
speak.
losing my mind, but I'm being, I don't know. I think it's good because
Mm.
so, all right. So hear me out. All my lawn care stuff. Now I just take pictures of my lawn and ask for like tips and the things that I need to buy and stuff.
Mhm.
It's way better than having to go through like hours of YouTube videos or like those,
I mean, I make fun of you, but I do the same thing. So,
right? And so, for things that like I know, I just think about.
mhm.
But for gardening and stuff, which I've never done, and I don't even know what a quality resource would be, it's just saving me a lot of like pain and heartache.
Right. It's like those little things you can quickly look up, right?
Yeah, like it's not helping me, do something super
What
thoughtful.
did it say when you took a photo of your bathroom lamp with the water? It was like,
So
why
that's what I
water
did,
here?
and so I know roughly how. So actually, for anyone that is unaware, I almost died last night.
Mm.
Maybe, who knows? Final destination could be the only way to tell. But so yesterday afternoon or 2 days ago, maybe yeah, it was 2 days ago. I smelled a plasticky smell coming from like my bedroom, and I was like, "What is happening?" Because I know plastic smell sometimes indicates electrical fire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Holy moly's.
yeah. And so I mean, in the afternoon, I was like, all right, whatever. Because I was just like, maybe we got a new basket or whatever. Like I saw a basket, it was plastic, and I was like, yeah, that's probably it. And it was just like do you know what that process is called? That like smell leakage from like a new piece of plastic?
Off gassing?
Yes, that's it. Kristen GPT over there. Um, But so I thought it was just off gassing. I come back later, I'm still smelling it and not directly from that. I was like, okay, that's not good.
Mhm.
Confirmed it. Marissa smelled it too. So I know the general procedures, turn off the breaker, identify if there's any like warm outlets, if there's any like browning or anything near the outlets. That's really bad.
Did
And
the
so like I went,
cats? Oh, have you seen the videos with then the cats or the dogs smell like an outlet has something going wrong, and then they
I
react
haven't
to it?
seen, like I know animals react to it. Our
Hmm.
kitties were not.
Yeah, they were like do 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 do.
But I think that there's a reason for it.
Oh.
Um, but so go through the steps. I asked ChatGPT, I'm like, hey, help us debug this because it
Hmm.
had like it just knows things I don't. And it basically told me to do what I was already doing. So I do, and I identify. So we have a bathroom fan in there, and the bathroom fan units are typically fan and then sometimes a light on top of it. Sometimes it's
Hmm.
just a cover. This one has an LED light on top of it.
Hmm.
So I look at it, and I've looked at it before, because I'm in the bathroom, and I thought it had like dead bugs in it
Hmm.
previously.
Hmm.
I looked a little closer, and I was just like, I don't see any bugs. And so I was like, that doesn't seem right. And so I
You're like, where's my collection of dead bodies?
yeah. So power's still off. I unhook it, bring it down, and as I bring it down, like I almost like "Ugh," because there's water sloshing around inside of it,
Ugh.
which is super gross because it's
Hmm.
like not clean water, right? And so basically, I look at it, I kind of make an assessment. I ask the robot for its take. I'm not going to blindly listen to it, but I'm going to see what it has to say, and it's just like, hey, very like first of all, it's like water inside of a light, never a good thing.
Hmm.
But more, it took the pictures as like there are signs of like plastic burnage. There's the water is like black, indicating that there's something probably burnt in there.
Oh my
It
gosh.
it was probably shorting in there.
Hmm.
And shout out landlords, it's a classic piece of crap fan that
Hmm.
is discontinued and probably isn't really rated for the main bathroom use.
Oh.
So that's how it got water in it.
Hmm.
And so anyway, so that's down. Now I got to convince my landlord they have to replace the bathroom fan.
Oh, you are.
Well, yeah, because like this is an old model. I can't. Like, I might be able to find like a specific light to replace
Hmm.
it, but this model doesn't sell, or this company doesn't sell the lights individually. So
Hmm.
I'd have to replace like the whole thing, probably.
Mm.
We'll see though. I'm
Okay.
not dealing with it today, but smell
Oh,
is gone now that that's unplugged.
I was separately reading about how, yeah, bathroom fans are actually one of the highest causes of electric fires
Yeah.
the other
So
day.
that
So this corroborates the
I
statistic.
learned that from the robot.
Oh, okay. And hi Jimo, thanks for joining us. Thanks for saying
Yo.
hi. So since I've been doing the shorts, YouTube shorts, I feel very torn because I know I'm gonna end up clipping this conversation somehow. So now all we have are these batches of like how ChatGPT is a weird way we're using it, or oh no, AI bad, and like bizarre like household facts. Like that's all we're left with these days.
I mean, if we're being completely honest, that is kind of the show.
I know.
I
That
mean,
is a reflection of our lives. That's true.
this is how we're researching, right?
Yes, I guess. But I
Part of
think
it.
like the actual book content part is really hard to clip because they take a long time. They're never short little anecdotes. So
Yeah,
like people who only watch shorts actually end up watching a completely different show compared to the rest of us.
that's the nature of the beast, though. The context collapse of the internet is
Hmm.
changing how we think about everything.
Okay. Well, let me know
Today,
when. Oh,
go,
go on.
go, oh no, I was just gonna say, I don't know if we're gonna get into it this second, but
Hmm.
today we're gonna be talking about a very interesting talk from a famous computer scientist named Richard Hamming, who is at Bell Labs and also worked on the Los Alamos project. It's a talk called "You and Your Research,"
Hmm.
basically a compilation of all of his opinions about how to do really, really good work.
Yeah, and I was actually reflexively rebellious when Cameron mentioned the essay because it's one of those, like really long professor website with the Times New Roman. And I was
Kristen,
also
look, I could feel through Kristen's text message her rolling her eyes at me.
yeah. But I ended up, of course, per usual, reading through the whole thing and then like copying snippets and go, oh yeah, yeah, like I really like this part and that part. And I was like, oh damn, by this point I copy and pasted half the essay. So
Yep.
it is an interesting read. Oh, Cool Beans brings out that like the more we ask our chat GPT, the less we're actually talking to our friends. Yeah,
So trick
exactly.
so trick question. The only friend that I can think of that would have had any idea is pretty much Cool Beans.
Yeah, I know. I feel like that's one of the main issues. Is that yeah, I think yeah, Cool Beans is probably one of the few with actual like repairing things and fixing things and learning things on the fly skills.
Yeah. And it's also, I understand the value of mutually reinforcing relationships and helping other people and doing that kind of exchange of,
Hmm.
esoteric knowledge and service and whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, I posted this yesterday, and the reason I think that these large language models have product market fit is because lonely people get to interact with somebody that won't get tired of them. Same with dumb people, same with smart people. Just it solves that problem for them in a different way. And there's only so many times I can text a friend for help, whether it's like knowledge help or physical help. And like odds are they're not going to respond right now when I actually need it. And even if they do, how many do I get? Like 5 or 10 before I haven't reciprocated and personally feel bad for
I
asking
think
again?
that is the key is that you feel that you have to be reciprocating or like you know what I mean? You're not giving room for the rest of us to help.
I definitely, because like, surprise, surprise, I've explored this also with the robots.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want to tell you.
No, I have
Oh, also,
an
chat's not listening to us until you answer the energy drink question.
okay. I don't have an energy drink because I mistimed my subscriptions. So now I am
Aha!
energy drink less. I've been drinking my energy workout powder. I mistimed it with the show. I'm very sorry. I have a Diet Coke, which is almost as powerful.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, look, everyone. He's got the Diet Coke. We're good enough for now.
And I have my Almdudler
What
for
the heck is
my
that?
Europores out there. I showed this a couple months ago. It is a lemon spring water drink. It's like a lemonade kind of thing.
Oh,
It's Dutch, right? I think it's either Dutch or Swiss. I
that
think
was
it's Dutch.
classy.
It's great. I saw it. Actually, you're going to roll your eyes when I say this. I saw it referenced in a Jacob Collier video.
Oh yeah, yeah. The eyes are rolling. The eyes are rolling.
And I was just like, Jacob Collier is kind of obnoxious, but also,
Oh, okay. Well, it's not just me then.
what? No, he's
Well,
super
thanks.
obnoxious. Like, he's an alien, right?
Oh.
He is not a human being. He is an alien that listens to alien music and makes alien music, which is okay. It's not my cup of tea. He
Mm-hmm.
makes music for whatever conquers us in the next 50 years.
Okay.
And he'll be a hero.
Well, he's good at being an influencer as well as
He
a
is.
musician, and nowadays you need to be both.
Yeah. He actually, I had a friend. Yeah, I call him a friend. I had a friend in high school that had a very similar vibe. Incredibly competent musician.
Mm-hmm.
Always wore a lot of alpaca yarn. Just very
Mm-hmm.
same energy.
Mm-hmm.
He
Oh.
says, "Yeah, ChatGPT does hype us up. That's well documented. It's very sycophantic.
Mm-hmm.
You should not listen to what robots tell you without really squinting at it and being like, be more critical, or I think you're being sycophantic." And then a lot of the times it'll rewrite what it says to you to be more realistic.
Yeah, the quick version of it is just to say instead of saying I think blah, you say my friend thinks blah, and then be a critical expert about blah, and that removes a lot of the sucking up parts.
Yeah, if you prime the robots to be, say, you are pragmatic, you are direct, you are straightforward, you are no nonsense, it'll give you a little bit more clinical of an answer.
Hmm.
Or
Yeah, and then Arlu made the joke that I was making in my head, which is like, yes, clearly you need ChatGPT to schedule your energy drink deliveries.
it's not that good yet. The eventually, I think the agentic future will let me buy a bunch of
Right.
stuff.
You know what's really bad? Amazon's AI. Have
Oh
you ever
yeah,
tried to use the
it sucks.
Rufus thing or whatever?
It sucks.
Oh my god, it's so bad. I'm like, why? But why is it so bad? Is it because they couldn't hire the good engineers?
I like to think a
No
couple
offense if you
things.
work at Amazon. I'm sure it's a very
Offense.
bureaucratic place.
I used to work at Amazon.
Oh right.
Offense. The I think it has to do with like two big things. The first one being that all of their training data is slop. Product reviews have not been a meaningful quality source of texts since at least 2015.
But even if I feed like what I can see in terms of reviews into ChatGPT myself, the results are better than it's like they're not even accessing their own database for some reason with the Rufus build.
Yeah, so that's like the first part is I think like their training itself doesn't like the data set doesn't make for what you want out of it because it's not good itself, but it also doesn't have all these other pieces like internet wide data training does. The other piece is I don't think Amazon has like I don't know how to describe it other than like a culture that would make a general purpose language model work because all they think about are like very discrete inputs and outputs
Oh.
and like business logic and optimization logic. It's not going to talk to you like a friend because nothing about Amazon is your friend.
But like Alexa was really close actually. You know what I mean? They actually had an edge back then. There was a thing called Alexa Skills, which was
Yeah.
like a programmable voice thing, and I tried to make apps with it way back when. And
Yep.
it was super hard to work with, but I felt like they had an edge and they lost it.
Yeah, I mean the edge was like 2015.
Yeah,
And that was
exactly.
pre like widespread neural net, et cetera. So I think the
I was
Alexa
trying to
that
make an app where you could practice the US citizenship test by voice.
that's interesting. Actually, we should have a whole nother discussion about voice as a UX, like as an interface. It's not very good for most people.
Uh, because of accents or because the way it's hard to think verbally.
The way a lot of people interact with things isn't voice. And so even as like kids grew up with Alexa, they didn't engage with it in the same way that like textual interfaces and like GUI interfaces get interacted with. It's not like super obvious why, but there's a lot of there's been a
I
lot
think
of
it's
research.
just too much lag right now. But once it's instantaneous and you feel like it is a person, then you are totally cooked.
It could be. I that like lag is one of the big pieces for sure.
Yeah. JC4P made this app called Talk Trainer.
Yeah.
It's available for free for now, where you can practice languages with it, and I thought it
Yeah.
was really well done. But it's just super hard because it doesn't reply. It doesn't cheat at all at any point and allow you to speak in English. So if you
Oh,
say like certain things in English, it will be like, oh yeah, you said blah blah blah. But back in Spanish, the idea is that you should be able to pick up on what it said in reply to you, so you know what you said.
interesting.
And it's very fast, so it feels like a real conversation.
That's fun. Do you learn languages?
Yes, I mean, I speak a bunch
No, I know that you have before, but like, do you do that? Is
to
that a
learn.
thing you want to continue into the future?
I mean, every once in a while, I panic and go, "Oh no, I should learn more Spanish."
When's the last time you went to a Spanish speaking country?
Well, I went to Colombia a few years ago. That was super hard because they don't like when you, at least over here, in a lot, in the U.S., if someone speaks Spanish at you and you obviously don't understand, they'll switch, right? In Colombia, they just speak harder and faster at you in hopes that you will then understand.
Do you have any plans to go back?
No, but what if I do?
I mean, what if you go to Germany?
Oh, then my Deutsch needs to be better sprechen. I did learn German back in college too.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah,
fine.
it's like
I
little
could see that.
remnants of languages where I'm like, oh, I wish I'm a little bit better.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
I think
like
that we'll
it's
soon have these like, Babelfish things that
yeah,
will allow you to hear things.
that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like it's fun, and obviously
Mhm.
programming itself is like learning a language.
Yeah, even this show, I think we can set it to auto deepfake our voices in different languages already.
Yeah, and so it's just like there are a lot of things that I think are worth doing fundamentally that I also acknowledge practically kind of don't make sense to do.
I know. I mean, I'm the one who's actually making a ton of bots right now, not even you. So,
That's real.
yeah. So you didn't ask me how I'm feeling.
That's true. I didn't because I'm selfish.
Oh,
How are you feeling?
no, you were asking me before we went live.
That's true. I did.
And I love how Isis has switched to Spanish in the chat.
He needs to do all of your chats in Spanish. I read Spanish okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I can understand with context. Necesitamos. Sí.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling tired. Like, I think you were pointing that out earlier. Like, the good news is that I am doing stuff, but the bad news is that it's because my to-do list has like exploded. So even if I do stuff, I feel I'm only accomplishing 20% of what I want to get done every day. And of course, yes, the correct answer is you should reset your expectations. But you know how it is. It's hard
Yeah.
when there's more and more like projects that have daily tasks that I can't really move.
The
Oh yeah, and then everyone's pointing out, yes, I do know no wahala.
no, yeah. One of the more interesting things from being a startup founder and in the startup world, like one of the more interesting ideas that I've taken away is ultimately the founder is the keeper of the focus. Because as you do more and as you learn more, you end up finding all of these other paths for stuff that you could do. And odds are they're all good ideas, but
Yeah.
are they the best idea? It's really hard to say. I feel that way too, right?
Right.
We didn't get to it, but I also have a side quest that I want to play around with for little feelings in terms of optimizing it for LLM search versus SEO. And I don't know how I juggle this or will juggle this into the future. How are you thinking about that?
Okay, so my newest thing that I think Isis would know is that with Reframe, I'm really building a community for other builders to build their stuff, and I'm helping them out as well. So I feel like that's the way for me to move forward is that I'm holding the mission and the connection, but a lot of the building I'm trying to allow, like not allow, but like encourage other people to do the building because there's just infinite ideas, and I cannot possibly do them all.
Building of stuff within Reframe?
Yes, I think this is the part we're still working out, right? Like, but like I'm building my own apps, like meditation apps and whatnot. But like, if someone else like Isis is building these like paper reading apps, then you know I'm
Cool.
helping out. So I feel like there's this so like accidental DAO situation right now without any infrastructure nor forethought.
What makes it a DAO versus just a group of people?
Uh, I think like what DAO is trying to solve in terms of attribution and like, you know, financial and like, you know, distribution and all of that is really nice. But I also am very like careful because I like from being in a bunch of DAOs, most of them don't work out very well. It's like the problems is correct, but the solutions are wrong. Like the problem of solving for, okay, we are a band of we're like a little co-op and we're all doing our own thing, but we're also helping each other out.
Yeah.
And you know, like eventually, if like should things get monetized, I think that's where things get messy usually, right? Because then it's like, okay, who makes the money? Like these are things I'm really cognizant of. But then like, and then DAOs try to solve that with tokens and whatnot. But I feel like what ends up happening is that you have this like HOA gridlock situation or like power grabs and you know all sorts of crazy things that happen. So I feel like the benevolent dictator model is still what I need to do until there's some more clarity in this regard.
Well, so then like you know my feelings on crypto organizations, but like I fundamentally
Oh yeah, I was
oh
gonna say
good.
with the exception of Cool Beans Wild Yield DAO, which I think is the only functional DAO around.
Don't know enough about it to criticize, but broadly, I don't really see what is more compelling about an on-chain governance if you have a relatively medium trust environment, which is like the nature of these early communities anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Which I think is very manageable, right? When it's only like me and nieces and child, it's like there's like very few of us, then there's enough trust to make everything work. It's just that once there's people who are like I'm meeting for the first time through Reframe, then that will get a bit awkward. But you're right, I shouldn't pre-optimize.
Yeah, it's
I talked myself out of it.
this. How do we feel about Atomic Habits a few weeks later, Kristen?
Oh, what did we implement from there? I feel like the Buffett top 5 has been our most consistent thing. And I'm still
So
very
far,
proud
yeah.
of the episode and how we're actually doing the system. But then for Atomic Habits, what did we implement?
For context for chat, Chris and I meet every Monday, and we use from our Warren Buffett prioritization episode our 5 most important things that we're doing any given week to kind of suss out the rest of our to-do list. I think Atomic Habits, we both pretty much internalized the OODA loop, the kind of cue, action, reward, reorient, kind of like whatever the actual step is. I think we both internalize that for our habits, and we've done that for a long time. I don't know. I think with all of these books, I take the tactics from it and know that I have to come up with the philosophy for my life myself. What do you think?
I think that sounds about right. I feel like the issues with like Atomic Habits is that they assume you have a lot more. Like we're kind of doing it, like we are building systems, right, and making 1%
Yep.
improvement or whatever. But like, the advice is so not pedestrian, but you know what I mean. Like almost everything you could be like, oh, that was in Atomic Habits because he's so good at scoping everything to be under his book.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like yes, in a sense we are doing it, but I don't think it's necessarily because of the book.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's like I don't know. It's kind of. Did you ever read? What's the epic poem that the character Grendel is from, or maybe it's just the Grendel saga? Do you
I
know what I'm
don't
talking
know.
about?
Gilgamesh.
No, not even
I'm
close.
just
Different
saying.
continent.
I'm just saying random
The,
epics.
the epic of Gilgamesh and Grendel do not overlap. Maybe thematically,
You know,
but
the even sad part is that I knew about Gilgamesh from Final Fantasy VIII, not from the actual.
anyway, what I was trying to get at is Atomic Habits is kind of like productivity canon at this
Yeah.
point. And so it's useful to read so that you can talk to other people, whether or not you take anything specific from the book.
Yeah. Is it Beowulf?
Beowulf. Yep. Yeah. Nailed it.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
okay.
We're being yelled at.
I will disagree with Art. There is a specific Grendel that I like. I think there's another poem that is just Grendel. We need someone pulling this stuff up.
I like how we went from like lowbrow to super highbrow in like 2 seconds.
Okay, bangers about whiplash, baby. Intellectual whiplash.
Okay. But yeah, I think today we're going to talk about the Richard Hamming essay. Speaking of highbrow, how did you come across it?
I love not dumb. I love weirdo academic niche collegey professor university websites.
Oh, the ones that
I
look like they
have
built in '95 and never changed.
yes. Some of the most interesting things on the internet come from those kinds of places. That's why I started that project. The pdfproject.org has really interesting PDFs uploaded to it. I don't really talk about that too much. We worked on it together. But anyway, this one was from one of those like Hacker News or old Reddit posts or whatever that I read, I think when I was in undergrad, when I was studying physics and applied math, and I thought I might actually become like a scientist.
Ah,
And so I was like reading it, trying to understand this like person that I looked up to. Richard Hamming, like I said, Los Alamos, Bell Labs. He worked literally in the same office as Claude Shannon, who is one of my, like academic crushes. And so he had clearly done a lot of really interesting technical things, and trying to understand that person was important to me. There's also something about these types of websites and these types of people, especially when they speak, they speak very differently than people do today, even like academics today.
Mhm.
And I don't know how to describe it other than it kind of feels like I'm talking to my grandfather, who was
Yeah.
like a industrial chemist for his entire career.
Mhm.
And so reading it, you can basically feel the white shirt, black tie, pocket protector, like
Mhm.
glasses energy coming from it,
Mhm.
mixed with also an intensity and a like there's a section in this
Mhm.
in this talk, because it's a talk he's giving and it's an essay of the talk, where he's kind of talking about how people aren't really bold with their research convictions, and it's like that energy of this like bold academic researcher person, as opposed to some other archetypes of academics that I don't vibe as well with.
Yeah, for sure. So like he talks about almost something like the right stuff, right? Like
Yes,
which is oh my gosh, who wrote the Tom Wolfe, I think, wrote the
Thomas
right
Wolfe.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the whole idea that if you don't believe you can do it, you definitely can't do it.
Also, if you haven't read the right stuff, it's about the astronauts of the Apollo program.
It's a
Crazy that they
classic
did it.
military book, isn't it?
What was that?
Do they recommend you to read it in the military schools and stuff? The right stuff?
No,
Really?
they were all naval test pilots, so not really like the overlapping canon of the infantry branch. I
Oh,
I
oh,
mean,
you guys are like, ew, the Navy.
well, yeah, because they're dweebs.
Okay.
Also, not necessarily great dudes. They had all of
Mhm.
the same energy as like 50s and 60s
Mhm.
men.
Is
But
there like a infantry equivalent of the right stuff that has more infantry people in it?
I think the closest thing in terms of a study of people,
Mhm.
General Erwin Rommel's infantry attacks of him being a platoon leader in the German military in World War One.
Mhm.
I think that's maybe the closest to getting very, very close to an infantry youth.
Mhm.
But there's not like not that I've come across, there's not the same kind of really following a small group of people doing a specific thing
Mhm.
with the Tom Wolfe, with the like Bonfire of the Vanities energy,
Mhm.
or like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Like it's all that kind of intense, but also with some gravitas, but also just kind of batshit.
Mhm.
So in terms of like an infantry perspective of that, I don't really think so. Maybe like no, they like We Were Soldiers Once and Young is like a very it's like a Vietnam War era stuff, but it's not like the same.
Mhm. Okay. And I see there's a bit of Navy bashing, but I'm sure like the Navy people also bash you guys for being, I don't know,
Yeah,
jarhead.
for
Or is
sure.
that the Marines?
I mean, Marines eat crayons. The Army is, a less tough Marines.
Mhm.
The Navy is full of seamen, and then the Air Force sits in chairs all day in air conditioning. And so like that's kind of like the running joke.
Yeah, I always thought that if you're, like, if you're conscript or something, you should probably join the Air Force. Like that's the cushiest one, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Navy also has a lot of benefits of you get to go to port. And
Mhm.
so so when I joined the Army as an infantry officer, I had a buddy who was a surface warfare officer.
Mhm.
And as I was doing all of my infantry crap, I'd like come back from the field in July on a
Mhm.
Friday afternoon in
Mhm.
Fort Benning, Georgia, and
Mhm.
I'd go on to Instagram and I'd see him freaking posting pictures from Rio
Yeah.
or some other like tropical paradise, and I was like, dude, this freaking sucks.
Yeah, I was. That's why when I heard you're in the army, I'm like, oh man, you're not in the cushy branch.
No.
So this whole like whether you believe you are the right person to do it situation, my hypothesis is that when we struggle with something, it's because we have our subconscious mind thinks that if you truly believe you can do this thing, you're going to end up in this resultant life that you don't like. So therefore, let's not succeed at doing this thing because like doing a thing and succeeding with it always comes with everything else around it, right? So it's like I subconsciously believe that if I succeed with reframe, I'm gonna be really busy and I won't have time to like hang out with my friends or something like that. Therefore, I make it really hard and a struggle because my mind, I didn't like also configure what that life would be like once I succeed, for example.
There's so much in that.
This is
I
also
want.
like a made up example. I don't actually believe that. So, but I was like,
Wait,
oh, I don't want
what?
to say a friend thinks this way.
Well, sorry, I want to unpack all of that. A brief. This talk is basically him giving his entire survey of what he thinks researchers,
Yeah.
especially early researchers, should do and how they should
Right.
orient their lives.
Oh, actually, let me give a better example.
Yeah.
When I read all that, I recall when I was in a researcher, right? Like
Yes.
an actual one, not this jokey
PhD
title.
neuroscience researcher.
Yeah. And then like my professors were all like they were all huge fans of the right stuff sort of mentality.
Yeah.
And then like I think what I can articulate now is that at the time my special interest is not science. It's religion. And therefore
Crazy.
like I never really wanted what they have. So therefore I couldn't like proceed in the academic route. And there were like glimpses of it where I was like, with the things I'm interested in, not even the same. But I feel like that's the reason. It's like, it's not about having the right stuff, is that subconsciously, that is not the right stuff for you. So therefore, like one will not succeed in whatever it is, and it will redirect you to what you're meant to do. What do you think about that?
I think you are describing having the wrong stuff.
For that situation, right? Which is
Yes.
not a bad. There's no right or wrong in that sense. There's only like right fit and wrong fit.
Full agree.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I feel like that's where I feel a lot of people struggle unnecessarily, including myself, because like we see it as, oh no, I'm struggling with this thing, but it's actually because subconsciously, like we know, oh, this is not exactly the right thing yet. And it could be like there could be some deception in there, but I feel like it's not necessarily bad that one is, struggling in some way.
so this talk goes into a lot of different things. Part of it addresses some of that. Part of it addresses things that researchers don't think about, like selling their work to their bosses and other folks that they need to convince. And then part of it is thinking about how you should spend your own time if you actually believe the things that you say you believe about yourself and what you want to do with your life. One of the early things in the talks that he says is, I want to not misquote it. like everybody has one life to live, and if you want to do significant things, you have to basically make the decision to do significant things. And so applying that to kind of what you're saying is, did you really feel this about yourself, or did you operate in a way that wasn't aware of this aspect? Or are you applying this logic retroactively, or are you asking if this is how you should think about it?
Oh, retroactively, right? Because at the time it just felt like I'm failing. like I'm not quite right, but I don't know why.
Okay. So
Like I didn't. It's one of those situations where have you seen Friends where you're like, oh, your issue is that you want, but deep down you don't want. So therefore you're not going to get whatever you think you want to get anyway.
yeah, I think I agree with that in the general case. I think there's a lot of specific cases where you might have the wrong stuff.
Even if you want the thing.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I think so. Of
Like,
course,
I think
every permutation exists.
I think it's too nice and coddling to say, if you aren't succeeding, it's because you don't actually want it. I think that's unfair and maybe cruel to tell some people that, because there are some people that I started the physics major with that I love and I care about a lot, but dude, they could not do math to save their life.
Oh.
They just didn't have the right stuff to do physics, at least at that point in their life.
Yeah. So there's like a skill and want 2x2. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that maybe 50% of people think that it's a skill issue, but I think it's actually a want issue.
Yeah. I mean, I say that in the same breath of fundamentally believing most people can do most things if they really want to do it. But I think you're pointing out you not succeeding might be a function of you not putting in the work you need to because you on some level don't actually want to do the thing. Is that fair?
Yeah, exactly. Or you want to do something else, but you haven't quite figured out what that is yet.
Yeah. So how did you realize that? Because I think you completed your PhD, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So you didn't realize it during, or you
I
did
even
and
did
were
a
just like,
postdoc, so there was like a long period.
yeah. Also,
And one would argue I'm still figuring it out. Clearly.
I mean, from the great warrior poet Kendrick Lamar, it's a lifelong battle with yourself, man.
Mm-hmm.
I Top Gun is naval aviators. They're not the Air Force. If you ever see a plane on a ship, it's not the Air Force. Oh, like most likely.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's actually a fun. I don't know if this is fun or horrifying, depending on how you view the usage of your tax dollars. But the largest air force in the world is the U.S. Air Force, and the second largest is the U.S. Navy.
Oh, that's okay, right?
I don't know. It's the fact, though.
I thought you were gonna say that the horrifying thing is how much money is spent on propaganda.
Oh no, I don't know those numbers because they don't share them.
But like movies like the Top Gun is funded by, or at least sponsored partially by the military, right? Because it benefits them so much, right?
Yeah, back then. But
But even the new one, right?
the new one also is. But if you
Yeah.
look at the grand landscape of media, the amount
Hmm.
that actually goes into directly paying for.
Even YouTubers now. Have you seen some of these YouTubers like Mav? Like they're being paid. I mean, this is all transparent. Like
Yeah,
they're being paid to showcase military training now,
yeah. There's
which makes
there
sense if you want to recruit from the younger population.
for sure. There's also the U.S. PSYOP Command has a
Hmm.
YouTube channel, and
Hmm.
not gonna lie, all their videos are bangers
Hmm.
because they're all just vague teasers of just PSYOP stuff. And so I have a little bit of internal dissonance with like, oh, dude, this is sick, but
Yeah.
also nightmare.
Okay, so related to the whole skill issue thing, like he talked about brains, right? How there's enough brains in the entire talk to,
Yeah,
solve
that
every
I was
problem.
gonna go into that one. I love this section.
Yeah, so like I'm gonna have a tangential point, so you say your point first.
Oh, I was just gonna say hello to LQIQ. It's very hard to read. Like I can't tell the difference on paper. The section itself, he directly, like Richard Hamming directly addressed, how about having lots of brains? Does
Mm-hmm.
that mean, like, do you have to have lots of brains to be a good researcher? His short answer is it helps. You probably do if you're thinking about being a researcher. But then he goes into multiple examples of people that he's like worked with or worked near that he's like, I don't think that person's particularly bright. And then after a period of that person like struggling, something
Mm-hmm.
clicks and they outwork whatever limitations they have with their like baseline brain IQ.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean if you're dumb as a rock, you're going to get a Nobel Prize in physics. But it does, like, it's an interesting perspective from a professional nerd to talk
Mm-hmm.
about how to be really good at being a professional nerd and how
Mm-hmm.
brains is part of it, but it's maybe not the most important part. What did you take from that?
Um, I think it's like a barbell effect sort of situation. Like I feel when I was in grad school, I was definitely not the fastest thinker. Because you know how some people are just like really quick in thinking
Yeah.
and they can like solve problems really quickly. I'm definitely not. I'm like a farmer plotting type, you know? So when we talk about brains, I'm like, yeah, like there's some people where you're like, oh, they are destined to be researchers because they're just so quick. But I've also seen people who are much more of the plotting type succeed if that's something they really, really want to do. But you have to like know your specialty. You
Yeah.
know, like if you are not quick, don't compete with the quick people. Like that's just not gonna, you're just not gonna win.
Yeah. Or chase the same problems,
Yeah.
or like your path ends up working on a different set of things that the quick people probably get frustrated with because they can't solve it quick.
Mm-hmm.
I,
Like if
this,
you're good at holding complexity or something, you know. But I think
yeah.
that takes a level of introspection, or like maybe like 360 reviews. Like there is something where you need to collect data on yourself from other people because it's really hard to see yourself.
I think it's a humility and ego thing.
Say more.
when you think a different way than the best or whoever's getting heralded as the example, and
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes like the people who are quick with the answer end up being that because
Mm-hmm.
it's just more visible when you get the answer faster. You end up comparing yourself to that person and trying to fix the aspects of yourself that make you more like that person, and sometimes
Mm-hmm.
that's the right answer. But especially in an era of, especially in an environment where that person just gets better at being faster because that's already what they were going to do. They're leaning into the thing that makes them feel good, which is like being this quick, fast yapper, talker, problem solver.
Mm-hmm.
You have to really be honest with yourself, which is basically what you're saying. So, like, that
But I
you're
mean,
not.
in the examinations of your strengths and not your weakness. I think that that's the one thing I wish I had known earlier. Is that like
Mm,
when I thought, oh, I should like get gather data on myself and see what I need to improve. That's actually not the right way to go about things. I should have only focused on my strengths.
that's funny because I think my mental illness involves me refusing to accept the state of my weakness. And then, like, as a result, like, you can only do so much in any given, like, week, day, month,
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And wanting to shore up those weaknesses because there's a part of me that's really, really afraid of being weak in that specific way
Mm-hmm.
ends up preoccupying me in a way when, as you're pointing out, you should be prioritizing doubling down on the strengths because that's the thing where you're going to be truly incredible, great at, or like perhaps singular at.
Mm-hmm. So like, but you are saying that you are ignoring your weaknesses, or
No,
like
no, no.
trying to.
I'm saying I wouldn't ignore them because my ego is such that I would refuse to accept that I have them.
Oh, so you really want to make sure you're perfect and patch them all out.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's not
Explains
a,
a lot.
I mean, it's a little bit of a, you know, reality distortion field in your own head of, hey,
Mhm.
this thing that is hindering me, I will never let this hinder me again.
Mhm.
And it works up to a point. But the reason why I say like the thing you're going to be the best at is the thing that you can do the longest
Mhm.
is kind of a perpetual reminder of myself to kind of just drop the things that are really holding me back to the extent that I can, or
Mhm.
offload them, or find some workaround that doesn't involve me fixing all of it. Because I
Um.
want to fix it, because I'm like a fixer. I get a lot of sense of self-worth about solving problems. And I consider a weakness a problem.
Yeah. So related to that, one of the quotes that I screenshotted this to you just to rub it in your face is so ideal working conditions are very strange. The ones you want aren't always the best for you. And that reminded me of you immediately.
Yeah, that's real. I immediately tried to rationalize it and saying working in a place with other people is different than working by yourself.
Uh-huh.
Because I would like the reason why I'm obsessed with Bell Labs as a place is because I want to have worked there.
But that will involve being in a shared space and working with other people, right? It's
But
almost
the
like a startup
benefit is
accelerator.
but the benefit is eating at other people's lunch tables and getting to rabbit hole about their special interest.
Yeah.
And I love that. But that's very different than working at a co-working space.
Oh, sure, sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
and I feel like at the Adjustment or like conference, I got to do a lot of that because it's
yeah,
essentially a month long, adult summer camp where we did a lot of that kind of interactions.
yeah. My problem with conferences is the kind of people that I want to rabbit hole on aren't going to the conferences that I've typically
Well,
gone to.
this is why we need to organize CamCon. Remember?
Yeah. I mean, we're going to get a lot of people coming to CamCon that are not familiar with our work.
You get to pick whoever you want.
Well, so I'm exploring in my head something that I have implemented at various times of my life. I've always valued it and it's always fallen off my calendar for one reason or another.
Mm-hmm.
He has a section in there about Fridays after lunch. He only thinks about big things.
Mm-hmm.
And like his definition are the things that are truly important in his field of study. And he doesn't like do any other like normal work. He doesn't allow space for the admin crap. He's just, hey, I'm going to think about, one of the things that I'm thinking about for what I would do if I implemented this in my life is I would only think about how AI is changing, consumer products. I would only think about how it's going to change our day-to-day life 3 years from like this moment or whatever. I love doing that. That's actually the thing about my MBA that I appreciated the most is because I could kind of create situations where I talked about that crap and nobody really had an issue with it because it was school. Normal life doesn't work like that because you got to work and make money and all of that. But I might bring that back to my life if I can have the discipline to not get sucked into practical things again.
Sure. So last night I sent you my list of like my 12 favorite problems, and that's from this course I did way back when called Write a Passage. So it's a writing course, blah blah blah. But the first thing that they make you do is to do this whole exercise. I think named after Richard Feynman, where you would list out your 12 favorite problems you are hoping to solve before you die. And the idea is that will orient you towards like bigger problems, right? Because if you're forced to list them out, like out of just pure vanity, you would try to think about more societal kind of problems. So I was wondering for you, what do you consider as your favorite problems? You don't have to list 12, but
I haven't thought about that framing in a while. Richard Feynman is also one of my surprise like academic crushes. I've read all of the books about his life that I could find, and he played bongos. I always thought that was really interesting.
I do know that.
I don't have a good answer for the problems I'd like to solve. I think maybe the closest one that I can think of right now is probably.
Oh, I know what we can do if you dare.
Well, let me
Ask
finish.
ChatGPT, based on the things I talked to you about, what do you think are my 12 favorite problems?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a bunch of poetry stuff in there, which I don't think actually overlaps with how I want to be spending my problem solving part. But we'll see.
Well, maybe 12 favorite questions. I don't think we necessarily have to solve problems, but they are like, it's more like what are your 12 favorite special interests? Is what it really is.
Well, that's kind of like the schoolyard retort. You ever heard this one? Is I got problems, you got issues. Problems can be solved, but issues can't. You ever heard that?
No, I have not. TIL. I only know I'm rubber, you're glue.
I mean, it is that energy. I think helping the median creator actually make a living wage is probably the closest thing to a succinct problem I would want to solve.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Questions I want to answer is a more broader framing that I would think about a different way than problems I want to solve. Because the thing that you sent me, to me, are questions I want to answer, not problems I want to solve. And that feels like a different approach.
Sure. I think it just depends, right? I mean, I feel like the whole frame of I'm going to fix or solve a problem can be limiting. Whereas like I'm going to explore question tends to ironically give more solutions. Because now you have more degrees of freedom to think about it. Because if you're perceiving it as a problem, it already limits you.
I would need to think about more to agree or disagree. But we're basically talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
There's a piece in here where he says, when you're famous, it's hard to work on small problems.
Yeah, I like that part.
And he goes on to basically say, once you make it, you get an award, you get a promotion, whatever, you feel the pressure to continue or like elevate whatever your previous high water mark is. Have you dealt with that personally?
I'm
on a
Yeah,
big or
I
small
think so.
scale.
Oh, 100%. So it's the same thing, right? Where if you are now like pigeonholed into being a Nobel Prize person, then your degrees of freedom actually decrease because now you are forcing yourself to think of what you perceive as a big problem, whereas the approaches to big problems can come from like little things. And I think he called them acorns versus oak trees or whatever. So for sure, I think in fact you encourage me to take smaller bites, and so do my friends. Like a lot of my friends, as I'm building Reframe, right? Actually, in the newsletter, I had pitched this question of like, which one sounds better, building a self-sovereign healthcare system or developing your scientific intuition? Yeah, exactly. All of you give me this like immediate vomit reaction, whereas I was thinking, then it will sound a lot more fundable if I say it that way.
Screams lizard person, and not it does not do it for me. Maybe it does something for
Right,
other people.
but in reality, you know that what I'm doing is much more like mom and pop's little solutions to solve healthcare problems. So and I know that I succeed or like get stuff done more when I think of that framing of like, oh, these are just little things I'm doing every day. So, but I think like at the end of the day, it is that lizard skin thing that I said.
I, yeah, I mean, he goes into why selling is important, and it basically lets you do more of what you want to do. So, I mean, we could talk about that. But I think what he's really getting at is the people who do really incredible things have some element of play in their work. Because the play is the randomness, the stochasticity, the like element of extra that makes you think a little bit differently than other people. And so that's actually why when you were talking about making the little mini apps and you're like, oh, some of these are a waste of time, where like I want to agree, but I also want to disagree because the first one's probably not going to be it, but maybe like the fifth or sixth, little side quest that you do there does actually give you the acorn of the idea that is actually going to resonate with everybody in your group.
Yeah, and then like many of my indie hacker developer friends say that the only way you can win against a corporate entity that can do things 10 times faster than you is to be whimsical, because they can't copy whimsical very easily.
Yeah, I think that's real. It's an authenticity problem, right? You can't be authentic when you are corporate scale because there is nothing that is there other than the drive to make dollars. Like that's
Right.
just the nature of those beasts.
So do you think you and I have this baggage though of like, because on paper we are like accomplished in certain ways, that we limit what we do based on past outcomes or something?
I mean, it ebbs and flows. All human growth is erratic. It's not linear. I think I very much I very much was victim to that within myself with raising for my last startup that I just shut down. I didn't need to raise. I felt really compelled to, as a way to kind of move on from the first startup that I did, which, like I kind of have mixed feelings about. And so like for me, trying to one up the thing that I did previously was a huge weight around my neck as I was like swimming around trying to do this thing. And it made me do things that I probably, like I would have been better served by doing some other things. And so like short answer, yeah, for sure. Longer answer is I'm trying to outgrow that aspect of myself, or at least be aware of it as I'm doing these other things. That's why I'm like doing things that, I'm intentionally trying to not do venture scale things right now. For a lot of reasons, but one of them is so that there's less pressure for them to work instantly.
Venture scale poetry.
I mean, I do think that I'll be able to turn it into something that actually is probably not a lot of money, but some amount of like regular income.
Right. I think you and I both doing the thing where we're doing the thing and we realize, oh, this needs a better system. And then we're going to end up like trying to build a system instead of the thing.
But sometimes that is the right answer.
Yeah.
Like that's the company Shopify is that. He tried to build a store for himself to sell snowboards. He figured out there was no good way to do that. And now Shopify exists.
Right. Everybody needs poetry, said Art.
Not enough to pay for it though.
Aw. Well, no, remember you're supposed to sell really cool merch, so I can use consumerism to enjoy your poetry.
Um, I'm cooking up some stuff. Littlefeelings.com for anyone rolling through. Go check that
Yeah.
out. I just published the first update in there, which was fun. Actually, okay. So this morning when I was screwing around ChatGPT in there, I'm gonna run an experiment to optimize Little Feelings for LLM ingestion.
Oh.
Because I don't think there's any poetry website on the entire internet that is gonna be oriented around LLMs.
Oh my god, that is so like lizard skin and so funny at the same
Well,
time.
so like the experiment is, can I get it to show up as a recommendation in poetry stuff, like whenever people interact with like LLMs for poetry, just because nowhere else on the internet does it?
So, well, I mean, you got to teach all of us because I think the LLM ingestion optimization is the new holy grail.
I'm figuring it out as we go. Art, thank you. That's very meaningful. I appreciate that. I'm just gonna like have AI tell me how to optimize for AI because I'm not a friggin' machine learning PhD. So I'm just gonna see how far I can get. I have some testing benchmarks that
Yeah.
I've constructed, and we'll see what happens.
Okay. Oh, it seems like Ace has built an LLM rank tracker.
Could
So
be.
please share it in our very fun OK Banger Discord.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Join through the link below.
I wanted to ask you a couple more things because
I
we're a
know, I
little
have
bit
so much
over.
notes too.
Yeah, actually, give one of your notes. I've been dominating some of those.
Oh, nah, I think we're about equal.
All right.
So, you mentioned in the beginning that he dresses like in a pocket protector and white shirt or whatever, but in the essay he talks about how he used to wear bolo tie and flannel until he realized that, oh, turns out people don't, let me schedule in my meetings and stuff if I don't look the part. So
Or
he
get
is
computer
putting on a
time.
lizard skin suit, like his equivalent of it, in order to make things work. And he said that there's like three things you need to do well in selling. You need to learn how to write clearly and well so people will read it. You need to learn to give reasonably formal talks, and you must learn to give informal talks, which I guess is like being a modern day creator is all these things anyway. So, like, what do you think of that? Like, how much should we have to compromise ourselves in order to fit the mold so that people will listen?
Everything's a game. You get to pick what game you play. I think it is not about compromising yourself. It's about picking your battles. I think if you are pursuing, like if your great work, if your significant contribution is more in the creative realm, there's probably a holistic aspect of yourself that you have to be faithful to in order to do truly creative work. In his context, where he is one researcher in a giant organization with a bunch of researchers that are all competing for what at the time was a scarce resource, which is computer time, he, in order to do the thing that he really cares about, needed to interact differently with the people that were gatekeepers for kind of blocking him from doing the stuff that he wanted to do. And that's not to say that they were evil, just there's only so many computer hours to mathematically solve problems at the place. And so I think I actually really respect being honest about like, if the only thing between you and your great work is wearing a normal tie, not a bolo tie, is it really that important to you that you wear the bolo tie for the 8 hours a day that you're at the job? I like the kind of person where it is really that important wasn't ever going to be in that job position anyway. And so, it's not like the free spirit answer is like, no, be yourself unironically every single time, every single day. But like other people live on the planet too. And I'm nicer when I go to the post office or some other place where like that person has no context about me and it's like I need something from them. Does that mean I'm not being true to myself when I'm like hyper masking to be a little bit like nicer in those places? No, it just means I'm not dumb and I know what's good for me.
Well, I think specifically like clothing is where I really notice a difference in how people interact with me depending on how I dress. You
Yeah,
know?
for sure.
Because sometimes like I dress like a weirdo, right? like on the show. But then like if I dress like what people think a Buddhist chaplain would dress like, with like a lot more of the black
Yeah.
shirt, white sort of situation, then people are like, oh, like, they speak to me with a lot more respect. But then I feel very torn about the whole costume of the whole thing too. Because I feel like, oh man, that sucks that people do treat people differently depending on how they dress, you know? I don't, I feel like fundamentally I don't love that.
You don't love a
That
basic
we
fact of
judge people
human
based on
nature?
how, I know.
Like,
And
it's
and the thing is, like, people like my teacher and like people who teach in the inside meditation tradition, like under Gil, dress in this like really specific way actually, with like a
I mean,
shirt and
yeah.
then like the slacks, and it's like a really odd sort of non-uniform uniform that I feel
Yeah.
like I'll descend into, but I'm also resisting.
It's like the civilian priest collar energy.
Yeah, a little bit like that, yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
I've always been very torn about how I should dress for this show, because I'm like, I just want to be comfy and this is how I actually dress. But then I'm concerned that sometimes I'm like missing opportunities because I don't dress what people think warrants that kind of dressing.
well, you
And it
are.
depends, right?
Well, you are. I'm telling you right now, you are missing a subset of opportunities as a result of the decisions that you're making. And I think that that's okay. For context, people can't see it, but this is what I'm wearing.
Oh, the cement shirt. Right. And then there's also this rebellion I have of like, if you don't treat me well the way I normally dress, then it's a good filtering mechanism. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. I mean, the way that I would think about it is if you can define what your significant work is to you, and that could be spreading the teachings that you believe are useful and valuable and helpful to people, and like matrix multiply that with you feeling comfortable in your own skin and what your bar is for like performative theocracy or whatever, and you just kind of pick where you want to land on that spectrum, knowing that there are dynamic tensions in how you are like living your life. For Hamming, the tension of wanting to wear a bolo tie, which for me as like a like a deep nerd, he probably wasn't aware of it up until the point where he realized it was impeding his work. And so it's not that hard of a choice for him to make because he really doesn't truly care about that bolo tie in the same way that like you might feel being connected with your authentic self is related to the practice of being a chaplain. And so like I don't think it's fair to yourself to compare the decisions because I think it is fundamentally easier for him to do that because he doesn't really give a shit. But I also think it's not a sacrifice of yourself to just like wear the thing that's going to reduce the amount of cognitive load that somebody has to have to understand some of the stuff that you're about. You know what I mean? I mean, it's the same thing as like not wearing a suit in Silicon Valley, even if you like suits. Like they're
Yeah, exactly. It's like the weirdo dressing is actually the way to go.
yeah. And so
You have to like turn up to the maximum. It can't be like half-assed, you know?
yeah, I mean it's all performative. I don't like I think you may or may not be like losing more people in your Discord group on the margin. Is that worth like you feeling hyper aware of yourself in your body and in public spaces? It doesn't seem that way to me. But it's worth reviewing every once in a while. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Do you do you remember the paragraph that he has in there about emotional commitment not being enough?
Oh, remind me. I don't think I took notes on that one.
So basically, he goes into a lot of people want to do hard things, and a lot of people partially do hard things. But he talks about how like creativity comes out of your subconscious some of the time. And the only way to get your subconscious really working on the problems you want it to be working on is to drown the subconscious in the problem. And so maybe only doing this thing all the time and like not leaving space for these other things where your like subconscious mind might be like chewing on or like at night in your dreams, whatever. he argues that's how he wakes up in the morning with problems solved, because all he's focusing on is the problem that he's trying to solve right now. And I think that's really interesting to think about, because we kind of talk about versions of this and what it means to be kind of like balanced in your life or well-rounded. But I felt some of these things before too when I've been more hyper focused on something. And so I'm like wrestling with how I deal with that, and I take as much benefit from it without sacrificing other stuff that's important to me.
Yeah, I wrote down the creativity comes out of your subconscious part because that also stood out to me. And I remember you have that book of the artist's daily rituals or something like that, right? And I've read it before, and a lot of it, like you can see these like Charles Darwin types. They work only like 4 hours a day and spend the rest of the day just like walking around and doing other stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh dang, yeah, I think it's true. You need like a lot more space of non-doing for the problem solutions to emerge.
So he's arguing a different thing.
Really?
Like Hamming's style is like, so let me read it directly.
Clearly, I had
If
read the opposite thing.
if you are deeply immersed and committed to a topic day after day after day, your subconscious has nothing to do but work on your problem. And so like the idea being that you block out all of these other things so that you just think about this. He didn't have TikTok to deal with, but you don't have these other little
Yeah, yeah. I
like
think
ankle
both.
biter.
Right. The both can coexist though. No ankle biters, and also not like being too like face on and deliberately working on the problem because you need your subconscious mind to do it. And the moment you try to actively do it, I think that also cancels out any progress.
I don't think he'd agree with that, but I think it's a reasonable thing to say. I mean, because
But
he's
didn't he like say, well, he cleared his schedule to think about the problem, right? So you're thinking he's like consciously thinking about the problem
yes, for
also.
sure. Yeah, like the way he works is he works his normal workday. He comes in on the weekends. He is a true rabbit holing like scientist in like the truest sense of the word, where like he wants to hyperfixate on this thing.
Right, right.
And for me, as a person with varied interests who likes to write poetry, music, program, do all these like different things, part of me wonders what I am sacrificing by allowing space for these like various things. You know, you get all the
Oh.
benefits of cross pollination of like, oh, doing this thing lets me do this other thing better. But I'm wondering if I need to min max harder.
Dude, well, I'm very torn because I bet like, this Dr. Hamming's special interest is his problem. So it was a natural thing for him to do. And are we trying to optimize for our natural inclinations? Are we trying to like force it into a singular thing, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I do think great work involves a little bit of both. And I probably think my original sin is impatience, which is really beneficial in some cases, is like, but really hinders me in others. Because if I want everything to happen right now, I can't exactly, like, you just can't do all of them to the same degree. If I was just like, okay, I get, an hour a
Well,
week. What? Go ahead.
yeah, it depends on if your goal is to be an artisan of a craft, then yeah, you have to do that one thing.
Yeah.
But if your meta goal is to be an artisan of many crafts, then you do many things. So it depends.
I mean, it's easy to say, hard to do. Basically involves like prioritizing my life in the way that like actually resonates with what I want, not just what I want, you know?
Yeah, and it goes back to the right stuff thing again, where do we deep down believe that to be good at the thing, we need to spend X amount of hours every day on it?
Yeah, I kind of think so.
Oh, then you have to do the thing then.
Yeah.
So if you have to cut your arms off, like arms and legs, which one are you keeping? Like of the things that you like to do. I'm just like, if you have to eliminate like poetry, music, coding, like, and then like somehow there's no money involved. Okay, it doesn't matter what you pick.
Yeah.
Which one would you focus on doing?
I don't have an answer.
Really? Nothing jumps out at you?
No, like it's like, I don't have a gun to my head answer because like I like all of them like a lot.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. I think the other aspect which I find really interesting is he has a paragraph about personality defects. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that one.
The in one of them, because he talks about a couple different ones, but one of them he describes a very competent scientist that refused to work with at the time secretary, now admin, administrative assistant. He refused to basically let her do anything, and he like had a system for all of his mail, all of his to-do piles, like this, classic system that a hyper nerd comes up with themselves, right? They're what is it? Zettelkasten,
Yeah.
a classic Zettelkasten for himself. And Hammond comes in and is just like, you're right. Your system is probably more efficient because that's what the scientist is saying. But you are now your own bottleneck. Whereas if you used the system that exists to support you, you can go as far as that system will carry you. And that punched me right in the gut because I really, really like to like mess with all of the little pieces and levers and things like that. And I don't like letting go of control of aspects of things that I find important.
You and me both.
Yeah.
We're
I was
both
about to say,
learning.
like, how do you deal with that?
Well, so in that section, I think I took notes as well because I was thinking, well, like that's where the whole decentralization, open source movements kind of come in, right?
What?
Because ideally, I feel like if you really care about like a mission or movement, you should be able to like communicate that in a way where anybody can participate without you being directly in control because it's just not a scalable thing. So I think like that's how I'm thinking about Reframe now is like, I'm opening up to everybody because I feel like the ambition of what I think it could be requires so much effort beyond what I can control
Yeah.
that my job becomes to only hold the direction and movement and not necessarily do every single part that's related to it. And like, what can I do to empower others to do something and not just myself, which is a totally different paradigm of the usual, like, Kristen must make everything happen.
Yeah. So that hits on what he says way in the beginning, which is you should structure your work so that other
Other
people
people
can
can
build
build
on
on
it.
it. Yeah, exactly. So that really struck me.
Yeah. That's interesting. I
I
don't know
wonder
if that
how that will
helps
work
me.
with your stuff though, because it's so much
Yeah.
like creative work, and I'm like, well, yeah, I don't want to add to your poems. Like,
Yeah.
what the heck?
So shout out David Foster Wallace.
Hmm.
I saw an interview with him. We did his "This Is Water" essay a couple weeks ago. I'm working on the video. I'm always working on the videos. Editing is a nightmare. That's something that I wish we had some money to offload to other people.
Should we like?
I think we
I
should
think
explore it.
yeah, because you now have enough examples, I think, for an
Yeah.
editor to do it.
Yeah, so maybe that's something to throw on for the next few weeks. But so shout out David Foster Wallace. He does an interview and he talks about his awakening in terms of understanding what kind of like avant-garde art really is, not just like his kind of youthful interpretation of it. And he uses a David Lynch movie. I can't remember the name of it. Something Blue, maybe Turning Blue. But he basically says watching this film and understanding its influences, but understanding how it, in the context of the influences, is still uniquely its own thing. Clicked for him, or made it click for him, that to truly do really good and interesting, valuable work, you have to be yourself as hard as possible, and not just like the yourself adapting other people's like unapologetically. I'm going to do stuff because I like it, not because I think people are going to think it's smart or clever or whatever. And maybe that's trite, but for me, looking at all this creative work I'm trying to do, I'm trying to be like, okay, can I build it for other people to stand on top of? What does that really mean in creative work itself? Like, I
Yeah.
think other people building on top of your work in creative fields is being as yourself as possible in a way. Because you know, like it's fun to like replicate stuff in other people's styles, but the more you do stuff that you like, the more it might actually shake somebody else out of the way that things, you know, should be done. Anyway, we're like, I'm super vague with all of this.
Well, I mean, it goes back to the one problem, right? I mean, partially. I know you don't like to, to think about this stuff too directly, but
Yeah.
like in a way, if you can demonstrate how you can do creative work and get paid for it in a way that isn't yucky, then everyone else can build on top of your system because that is the dream of many creative people. And no one's
Yeah.
really solved that well.
Yeah. The internet being free is really tough.
But I mean,
Like,
some people make it work. It's just that tail, the distribution is too sharp. Like only the really top percent of people can make it work, and if we can shift that slightly to the average person, then that already is so much better.
or not even the average person, just the average creator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the middle class creators need help.
Yeah. Any other big ideas from this that you want to get into, Kristen?
Gosh, I think there are so many gems. Oh, actually, one thing that's not from the essay, but from the Wikipedia page about Dr. Hamming,
Yeah.
is that it is mentioned that when he was young, he resented old scientists who used up space and resources even after they're all old and stuff. So he
That's
made
funny.
sure to quit pretty early on, so and just become like a adjunct and write books and stuff, so that other
What a
people can
G.
have the resources. And I was like, oh, that's so good.
Yeah. I mean, not saying I hate old people,
Mm-hmm.
but being very self-aware is incredible.
Yeah. So I felt like knowing that made me enjoy his essay even more. That he wasn't just like, talking to talk.
Yeah. Dude didn't just talk about it, he was about it, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Kristen, I appreciate you jumping on with me. Did we fulfill your goal of us just having a conversation that we talked about before the call?
Yes. And I'm so glad the chat had a very long conversation about neoliberalism that I think I need to catch up on.
I mean, that's on brand. Chat has taken on a life of its own.
Yeah. All right. Well, so we'll be back next week. So I think we're on. Oh, are we back next week?
Yeah, next week.
Okay.
Back next week before the 4th of July on, I believe, the 2nd. Oh, no. Yeah, maybe the 1st. 1st of July, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific, talking about, who knows? Keep an eye on our cast to figure it out.
All righty.
Bye,
Have a
everyone.
great one.